Hello, welcome to my channel. This video, I'm going to cover the first API in scheduling a call, which is setTimeout. I will have 3 API related to this topic. One is gonna be the first one, which is this one, gonna be talk about the setTimeout. Then I'm going to have another video which explain why, after we will demo some code, why it look like that way. Okay. Basically it's about the event loop inside the JavaScript. And the last video I will cover set interval and also compare with nested setTimeout. Okay, which is set interval versus nested setTimeout. So first, let's take a look at the first video, which is the setTimeout. Okay, what is scheduling a call? Normally, when we execute a function or invoke a function inside a JavaScript, when we add a parenthesis after the function name, it will immediately call that function right now. But sometimes we want to execute a function not right now, but after a certain time. In this case, there are 2 methods. You should have 2 methods you can use. And we will explain more about this part. They are not part of a JavaScript specification. Instead, because we are running the setTimeout in the browser, it's actually a browser API. We will talk in next video more about this part. Okay. There are 2 methods you can use which can execute a function after a certain time. The first one is setTimeout, which will allow us to run a function once after the interval of time. It will only execute once after like 10 seconds, 1 hour. Okay. Okay. Next one is a set interval. Set interval will allow us to run a function repeatedly, and starting after the interval of time and repeat continuously at that interval, which is every 1 second, every 10 seconds, I will execute a particular function. Okay, but we will compare a difference because not all the times, which is after 10 seconds. Okay, we will see for set interval in last video, in the third video. So first, let's take a look at the syntax of setTimeout. setTimeout is a global API, and it's a method inside the window. Let me put this one here. Okay. And the first one is you're gonna have a function or a piece of code. You can actually give a string, but normally we don't use that. Okay, so I won't introduce. We just give a function reference here, and then all other arguments, when you see the square bracket, that means they are optional. You can give a delete time, and delete time is by milliseconds. Suppose I put 1000 here, that's gonna be 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. Okay, and the all of arguments is to pass the values to the function, which is parse arguments to the function as the parameters. So here, function or a string of code to be executed. Excuse me, okay? Usually that's a function. I'm barely using a string of code to execute, okay? And if you want, you use, but it's not recommended to use a string of code. And the second one, as I explained, that's a delete time in milliseconds, and arguments for the function. Okay, this one doesn't matter because it's not supported anymore. Okay, we use Microsoft Edge. And if you want to cancel, you can use another method called clearTimeout, and you need to give a time ID, which is when we clear timeout, we give this ID, then the function won't execute. Okay, now let me show you the demos. Okay, now we go here. Let's talk. Where should I just put it here? Okay, here the first one is called setTimeout. I really want to just using the JS file and using Node to run, but I'm worried that you guys don't know the Node yet. So I always use the script inside the HTML. So what's gonna happen is we do the first one. Okay, suppose here I have function, and the function called a foo. And here I will have a console log foo. Okay, it doesn't do anything this one, and then we can use timeout. And what is supposed here I call foo, it's gonna do what? It's gonna immediately call this foo, right? It immediately call this foo, and you have a foo being printed in the console. But I don't want to immediately call the foo. What I want is after 2 seconds I want to invoke the foo. So here you give a foo, which is a reference. Don't do like this way. Okay, we will demo. Well, first we will make the working way. Okay, 200. 2 second is 2000. Okay, and after that, let me put it here. I don't need this one anymore. Okay. After that, we will open it. Okay, now I will go to the inspect, go to console. Okay, I'll reopen, reopen the file. And you do not see that foo, but after 2 seconds, you see, we can change this one to be longer, 5 seconds. And what I want to do is like this. Okay, I will put this one on the right side, make this one a little bit larger. So I will clear this one and execute. You can see the foo is not executed immediately. Instead, after 5 seconds, you see this one. That is the setTimeout, which is the first one is a function reference. Second one is a milliseconds. Let's give one example which has arguments. Suppose I change this foo to be sum. Sum I pass 1 and number 1, number 2. Okay, and here I will give the console log is number 1 plus number 2. Now if I call sum here, what's the value you expect to get? NaN, right? After 5 seconds, NaN. Because why? Because when I call sum, what's the value for number 1? What's the value for number 2? We didn't specify. If we don't specify number 1, number 2, the value is undefined plus undefined, because they are not number, so they cannot add. So you will get NaN. So now, how can I pass the values to number 1? How can I pass the values to number 2? You cannot do like this way, because if we do like this way, what's gonna happen? Our behavior is what? I want after 5 seconds, I see the 8. Okay, but if I do like this way, you're gonna do is what? You're gonna do is you will execute the sum immediately. So you will have 8. And after 5 seconds, the return the value of the sum gonna become the value being registered here. So you're gonna do is you actually have undefined here. So you don't have anything scheduled after 5 seconds. Do you understand? So here, see here, I didn't see 8 after 5 seconds. Instead, I will immediately see 8. I immediately see 8. The reason is because whenever we had a parenthesis, okay, parenthesis after a function, what's gonna do? This one you're gonna do is immediately invoke the function, right? Immediately invoke the function. So you will see this one I have 8 being printed, 11 being printed immediately. And same thing here. I have a sum and I have parentheses. That means you're gonna immediately execute this part, okay? And after execute, the return the value of the sum gonna be the function or the whole code being registered. But in the sum, I don't have anything returned. And by default, JavaScript is gonna return undefined. That's why after 5 seconds, we see nothing. Okay. we see this 8 is because it will immediately execute this one. Not 5 seconds, I got this value. So we cannot do like this way, okay? You cannot. You have to pass after 5 seconds. I want to see 8, not immediately. So how to pass value using the syntax? Let's go back to here. Let's go back using the arguments. This okay. After the last seconds, all the values you pass when you call setTimeout is gonna be the values to the function. So here, suppose I pass 11, 20, and this 11 big one are going to be the value of number 1. This 22 gonna become the value of number 2. So you will get a 33, and this 33 is after 5 seconds, not immediately. You can see US is 33 after 5 seconds, not immediately. Because if I do like this way, one more time, okay. 1 and 2, 9 seconds, okay. You will see 3 immediately being executed. Run, you will see 3 because they are different. But after 5 seconds, we will see 33. Okay, that's the difference between this one and this one. Here, we should always give the function reference. Okay, but that means you put a. I didn't mean when we call a function, it's always wrong. Suppose I have something like this way. X, okay. Return function. X. So if we do like this way, okay, for I can call it, okay, and here is after 1 second. I give a hello. Okay. So here I had a parenthesis, and this one. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Sorry. 1000. I should call like this way. So after 1 second, as you can see here, I have hello being printed, and then after 5 seconds, I have 33. And in this case, I have a function call here. I mean, not always you have function call. It's wrong, okay? This one works is because the return value of foo is a function. And setTimeout, the first argument, you have to give a function. That's why this way works. But in our previous way, the sum didn't have anything returned, so it's gonna return undefined. But undefined is gonna become the value. So in this case, undefined is gonna be here. But setTimeout, the first argument, expect a function. Okay. So in this case doesn't work, but this case works. That's the thing you have to understand. Okay. Let me see if I can do a string. Okay, we can have a demo for setTimeout. If I remember correctly, it's like this way. Alert. Hi. I have to use in double quotes. Alert. Hi. And after how about after 3 seconds? What do you mean 4 seconds? 3 seconds. Okay. I will rerun. I see here. Okay. Run one more time. Okay. So after 3 seconds, you will see the hi. Okay. Not immediately, right? Because and this is the string I'm mentioning, but it's not recommended. Okay, don't do this one. Just to give a function reference there. Let me see more demo. I will demo this one. I will demo this one. I will demo this one. And let me clear timeout. Okay, clear timeout. Suppose I will make a. Let me give you another demo. Okay, give you another demo. And here I will have a clear timeout.html, and here have HTML5, and then we will have a script here. JavaScript. Okay, and here I will use something which we will learn in the future. Suppose here we have a button and called the clearTimeout. Okay, here I will have a BTL. Just I have on click. Okay, on click, which is stop timer. Okay, now I will do is here I will have a function which is stop timer, and here I will do is setTimeout, which is I just have a console log here. Okay, CLG inside the stop timer. Okay, and here I will do after 3 seconds. How I do it? Oh no, do like this way. Like this way. I made a mistake. I should have to do like this way. And when we set timeout after 3 seconds, I will have a timer ID. We can take a look at what's the timer ID here. Okay, CLG. The timer ID inside the browser probably just a number. I couldn't remember. But it's different from in the node. Okay. When we have a timer ID, when I click a timeout, it will stop this one. So here I will just have a clear timeout and I have a timer ID here. Okay. So now the first demo is I don't click this button. Okay. Then after 3 seconds, we should see inside the stop timer, right? And now let's take a look at this one. Let me run live server. Okay, and inspect console. Yo. Do 1. Oh, this is the timer ID is 1. Okay, and now you see the inside the stop timer after 3 seconds. Okay, that's this behavior. Let me make this one to be 5 seconds, so it's gonna become longer. Okay, so you will see 1, and after 5 seconds you will see inside the stop timer. Okay, that's the behavior. But now I will execute the function again, and I click clear timeout already. Okay, I already click. So now let's wait a little bit. You will never see inside the stop timer being printed. See here, I think we already waited 5 seconds. Okay, because when we do clear timeout, the timer, the scheduled function, which is this error function, is being cancelled. We can do. I can also add a stop timer button clicked. Okay. Oh, because I'm using live server, it's restarted. I don't use this one. Let me just open in the browser, because it will live server, it will automatically refresh the page for us, reload the page for us. So here we go here. So it's been printed. Let me run one more time. After 5 seconds, we see that I will run again, and now I click this one. So stop timer button clicked, and after this line, it will clear the timeout. The timer ID is a number, which is this one here. So now I stopped. Okay, and we didn't see this inside the stop timer, right? It's already after 5 seconds, and that is a timer. Okay, that is this timer doing. The clear timeout doing. You have to get the timer ID inside browser. It's just a number 1, 2, 3, 4 like this way. This is the clear timeout, and next one. This behavior. Okay. See here. Here I have console log inside the stop timer. Okay. Let me give another demo. Okay, and I give a script. Okay, And here I will have some code called start, and here I will have end. And now here I will have a setTimeout. Okay, I just using arrow function here. Any function declaration is fine. Okay, and here I will have a timeout, and here I don't give a value. If I don't give a delay value, the default delay value is 0. Okay, if I don't give it, it's a 0. Same. So now guess what's the result you're gonna see in the console when we execute this piece of code. And we will see start, end, and timeout. Start, end, and timeout. Even though here we give 0, we would expect it's gonna be immediately executed, and we would expect I will have start, timeout, and end being printed. But in reality, what we see is start and timeout. And why it behave like this way? Okay, I will show you in next video. Okay. So that's this video covered for the API setTimeout, and I will see you in next video. Bye bye.